A medical expert recently said that listening to the Ron Van Dam Show can improve your IQ. Okay, her area of expertise is toe fungus, and she said it in a bar, drunk, to Ron. But still, a medical expert said so. You and your toe fungus are listening to the Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Ron Van Dam is an experienced talk show host. Do not attempt to try this at home.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Okay, sure, why not?
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Welcome to the program. It is the Ron Van Dam Show. My name's in the title, duh. Make yourself comfortable, please. I start every episode by complimenting you because that's how you end up as putty in my hands. And if there's something that I really want to happen is to feel you in my hand like putty. Doesn't make sense. Nonetheless, here we are. All right, this is how this is going to work. You're going to sit there and you're going to shut up, and I'm going to talk for about 30 minutes. I have a guest, and when it's all over, you'll just feel so great. It'll be unbelievable. So that's it, man. Just sit there and be quiet. All right. Hey, I said be quiet. You know what I've learned in my short but lovely life? That all you got to do is compliment people, and they are indeed putty in your hands. A strange phrase. I don't know if I want putty in my hands, but apparently this is how you do this. Compliment people. Go out of your way to lie to them and tell them how great they look, how they smell great. Just simple things like that. And if they say something, then respond by saying, that's very intelligent. That was a very intelligent thing you said. Just remark about everything they do in this fantastic way, and they will be that proverbial putty in your hands. It's great, man. It's so simple. A small white lie. Here's the best part. When you, especially with a female, and with a male too, though, tell them when you see them, say, "Oh my God, you look great. Have you lost weight?" Oh, they will love you. They will just adore you. Just say that. Have you lost weight? Unless they're anorexic, then it could go the opposite way and it wouldn't work out too well. You've lost weight. Yeah, I'm an anorexic. Thanks a lot. So be careful how you do this. And if your spouse, especially female-wise, especially female-wise, I got to learn to talk to do this gig, I think. I think I should figure that out first. Female says, do I look fat in this dress? What you say is, yes, you do. What? Oh, you don't say that. Oh, boy, that's what's wrong. That's why this is not working out. Okay, I got that wrong. No, nobody looks fat in any dresses. It's just impossible. Okay. I have an interesting guest today. We're going to do an extended interview. I've been spending most of this particular week talking about how divided our country is, especially politically, but it doesn't stop there. It's just we're being manipulated into hating each other. Hate is becoming the word of the century. We thrive on hatred. This is what we're based on. This is how we work. Used to be, supposed to be love. No, it's hatred. That's what gets us going. That's what thrives us into this tunnel of hell. So what do? We are so divided. It's unbelievable. It's like a boxing match. Everybody go to your corners and then come out fighting. That's kind of what it is. And we're being promoted by the administration to feel that way so we can be manipulated into various things at their whim. They've got this psychologically, they've got this figured out down to a T. But will it work? So far it has. But if the participants wake up and smell the coffee or the roses, whatever you like to smell. Of course, coffee and roses do smell very similar. No, they don't. As soon as the public wakes up, all of a sudden, you'll see what's going on. So we're going to see what's going on today. How do we comfortably live in a world of separation, especially a country like this? Such a pity. Such a pity. So we're going to do that. So indeed, make yourself comfortable. No alcoholic beverages will be served during this particular episode. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Aww. I understand. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, my guest Scott Gibbs will be joining us. But first, there's this.
Gentlemen, have you ever been in the mood for a nice knish or maybe bagel and a schmear, but you're also in the mood for some exotic dancing? You can't find those in the same place. Until now. I'm Moishi Kaufman, inviting you to come visit us at Moishi's Knish and Strippers, the area's first genuine kosher deli and titty bar. Come in and rock out with your locks out and check out our dancers. These girls are so nice you'll plots, and they're all certified kosher. Maybe not the kind of girl you bring home to mother, but once you see Delia fold a dollar bill without using her hands, you won't care what mom thinks. Look, Bubby, you're in a strip club. That alone is enough to kill her, so live a little. Every Thursday, don't miss our buns and brisket buffet from noon to 6. Moishi's Knish and Strippers is closed on the Sabbath. Hey, we might be a little unorthodox, but we're not heathens.
Scott Gibbs joins us now. He's a psychologist and author with a very involving book of our time, so to speak. Thanks for being with us, Scott.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you having me.
The book is Toward the Turning, Rethinking the Meaning of 9/11, The Clash of Civilizations in a Postmodern World. It's it's everything right now that we're going through, Scott. Are you psychic or... At what point did you write this book?
Well, it started with a journal article back just after 9/11, an article that was printed in the Journal of Humanistic Psychology. And then I didn't really feel comfortable about the article because it really just chose one side. I was looking at Islam and Islamism, and it didn't feel like it was the whole picture. So I started to dig in deeper. So it's been sort of a labor of love for a pretty long time at this point. But as you point out, there's the times we just keep getting more and more polarized. So It's not just about the West and Islam. It's about, left and right in America, etc.
It can be internal, it can be external, it can be everything now. And it's interesting. Was there a time in our civilization where the ideology was based on religious beliefs, but now it's just based on social beliefs?
I suspect so. I mean, I'm not a history's not exactly my area of focus, but it does seem like with modernity, right? With the changes in modernity, we've gone from just simply Christendom to a modern world that's more complex. We have, religious beliefs, we have political beliefs that are more and more important to our identity. And so that's taken on, as we become a more and more secularized society, more and more importance in our identity, if that makes sense.
Why does a human being go to the extremes on the left and the right? Why did that happen? Is it to prove how separate you can really be, or why do people run for the furthest corner on both sides?
A good question. One, we tend to polarize in relationship, right? So we sort of double down. I mean, I'm a marriage counselor. I mean, that's a lot of what I do. I like to heal conflict, and you see it all the time. You know, we amplify and try to make our points, but at some basic level, what's going on is that we have our identity, we hold it a certain way, and we're trying to protect it. So we defend. And in anything that feels like an assault in some way, we're going to narrow, we're going to become more rigid, we're going to amplify until things become more and more polarized and things escalate until they hit a crisis, or we run out of gas, so to speak, or just happenstance. You know, we get distracted with something else, and or we get a common cause, and things just kind of calm down. But hopefully that gets to your question.
Yeah, it does. It seems like now that the separatism is actually used as a device in order to gain one's way, and I use that in regards to the present administration, where they've recognized that if you separate, you can cause this type of commotion to your advantage. I guess that's being recognized now.
Yeah, and my gut tells me that it's recognized, but it's also sort of intuitive for folks like that. It's a way of operating, and it's not just the right. The left does it too.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we end up more and more polarized. In an attempt to get what we want at some level, but it's really an attempt to sort of protect who we are.
Yeah. It is interesting because it seems to me through conversations and interviews that most of America is in the middle, and yet the middle doesn't seem to exist, but it does, but it doesn't seem to. I'm a little confused by that part.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's that polarization that happens in the cycle, right? It's sort of like I may consider myself pretty center, or right of center, left of center, but you get in a polarized environment, and you have someone making cases at you, and we think they're not hearing us, they're not responding to what we're saying, and we're not responding to what they're saying, and we just end up in further or deeper in our positions, narrowing and becoming more rigid.
Yeah.
So the center sort of collapses, right? And you're left with the extremes.
True. As a psychologist, where does one put their head? In other words, I know you always run to the corner of where you're comfortable, because that's what we do in society. You choose your own news stations that reflect your view. It makes you more comfortable, and you need to feel comfortable now and then, so that's where you run. Psychologically, is that good for us? Because that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, no. The short answer is no. In terms, if your goal is to try to sort of problem solve, right? If that makes sense.
Yes.
If you're looking to try to just get your way, then you would, listen to, or watch Fox News or MSNBC.
Correct.
But if you're hoping to heal and you're hoping to problem solve, then you would broaden out your views. You would start to question your own views, frankly.
Right.
You would start to not only realize that you've been trained to see the world through a particular lens, but that you have a lens at all, if that makes sense.
This all started somewhat with 9/11 as far as the thesis concerned. I find that very interesting, too, because that was an incident, an event that made everybody closer, and all the crap, all the surrounding crap seemed to dissolve, but for not a long period of time, but at least it happened. To me, that's so interesting how it takes that in order to do that. It's a very odd human kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and if you broaden out even further, though, it's sort of it's actually us against them being sort of the Islamic extremists, right? If you're trying to be kind, I guess, for lack of a better term, as opposed to Islam more generally,
right?
It's not all of humanity. It's us as in the West versus these extremists, right?
Yes.
So, but it does bring us together because we have a common cause, right? We're not focused on our differences, and it's sort of like a couple who's been arguing, and then one of their children gets sick, and they unite around that, and they're really focused on just trying to solve that problem.
Yeah, yes, you're absolutely right. It's like there's a fire in the house next door. You instinctively run in and you save the person. I don't care what their political views are. I don't care who they are.
Yeah.
I don't care how much they've screwed me through life. I'm going to go and save those people. But after I've saved them, that's it for you. we're done. We're done with that relationship.
Back to, which is really sad, right? It's just really sad.
Yeah. How does religion indeed play a part? I've done some interviews where they're turning to religion and beliefs in order to bring people together, that in a house of worship people seem to be together, but outside they don't. Is that something that we typically always go to?
To go to religion? I mean, I guess if you're talking about us here in the U.S., for example, Christianity can be a very uniting thing, because it has a universal sort of spirit to it that, for me, I was raised evangelical, right? I'm no longer religious, but that's where I was raised. And to me, it's very powerful. It's a universalist sort of view, and it can bring, people of differing views together, having, increased tolerance, etc. And it also, if you don't agree, it can be, as we've seen, very divisive. Yes. So I don't look at, personally, I don't look at religions as all or nothing. It's sort of a mixed grab bag. Right. It's sort of some stuff in there that's wonderful and some stuff that's not so much, and people grab what is important to them at a given time.
Yeah, it's kind of like a last resort in a way for some. I mean, I'm not very religious either, but at the same time, I guess it serves that purpose at least. Here's what I found very interesting recently to be current. We go into another country and we assassinate their leader, and and then they have a funeral, and then it spikes things up, and then they make threats against our leader, and that is horrendously awful. Yet we have the ability to go somewhere and do that, and that's the right thing to do. It's a little confusing in this tit for tat kind of world.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's been going on, right? Yes. I mean, 9/11 is just another. It's maybe the pinnacle of events for us in that sort of tit for tat, but it's just another step in the tit for tat. And it's part of this polarization process that occurs where, I was on a podcast last week, and she was talking about basically getting revenge still. And I'm just like, well, that's not constructive, right? In terms of trying to solve the problem, because I guarantee you at the funeral, that's what they're saying. In fact, I think that was the rhetoric.
It was, and
it's just, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and actually, understandably so.
Well, you get enraged, right? I mean, and that's the challenge, right? Is right there. It's sort of like I could respond in kind,
right?
But is that ultimately? I mean, that's just to keep trying to create concrete examples. It's sort of like a couple where they come in and they're screaming at each other, and I look at them and I say, "How is this working for you?"
Yes.
And you're here because it's not working for you.
Interesting.
And that's the nature of what's going on here. I mean, it's really acute here in the U.S. with the left and the right. Yeah. I mean, it's just, we get more and more divided. There's no problem solving. There's just drama. And, back to your point about sort of the right figuring out that they can use this, in my mind, it's all politicians have figured out they can use it for their interest. They divide and they get support for them. And frankly, the media does it too, because it's sort of like they want eyeballs. They want to make money, or any particular podcaster has an interest in lots and lots of eyeballs and the status that goes with that. So they want to amplify too. Yes. and all it does is create drama, and round we go.
Yeah.
And when it amplifies it, it gets bad. I mean, we have Charlie Kirk, right?
Exactly.
It's, deaths on the left too. I mean, it's really sad. I mean, we look at it and it's sort of like absurd at one level, but devastating at another. So.
Yeah. One would wonder, and I feel this way, and you probably do too, and probably most of America does, where I'm sick of the extremes. Throw me in the middle and let's do some business. I mean, it almost seems like that's there's always going to be extremes on both sides, but it seems to come to the point where, all right, this isn't working out. And that's the point of your book, kind of. I think that's what you're saying.
I think to a degree, right, it is. It's sort of like, I mean, one of the things I talk about is sort of, one of the ways to think about this is we're just creating recurring drama. It's like the theater of the absurd, right? And we need to look at this a different way, which is step out of the drama. It's not perpetrator victim. It's what's the problem here? What's in your interest? What do you believe? What do you value? What are mine? And how do we negotiate this? Right. And there are going to be certain things that are like very difficult to negotiate, but I'm confident we can. The problem is we get caught in these cycles and we stop thinking, we're protecting our identity, and we just amplify. And the center goes away. We polarize toward the extremes, and the extremes rule.
Well, they do.
I mean, it's not good. It's not constructive.
Well, part of the reason that they rule is they're financially able to. Usually, the independents, so to speak, don't even have a party. They have a party by name, but it doesn't go anywhere because they're not funded at all or properly. So I think that's why I think that's where most of America is. Yet it doesn't exist because they're not financially enabled.
I mean, I think what comes up for me as I hear that is sort of there's something about the extremes that has more of an intensity and more of a passion to it that motivates more. Yeah. And therefore they give more, they're more likely to vote, right? They're more likely to get out there and protest, et cetera. So, it's the curse of the middle, so to speak, the reasonable middle to not be as motivated around certain stuff until they get completely fed up. Yeah. I suppose.
As a psychologist in that field, what does one do? I mean, there's not necessarily an answer to this, but should there be an understanding as to what this actually is, as opposed to just existing in it?
I mean, what do we do? I guess is part of what I hear. Right? It's I mean, where I am is I just want to shine some light on it to start with, right? Because I do believe, as I see in therapy, that once people start to realize what they're doing, they realize that it's not constructive. Right. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not optimal. So some awareness as we start to think about it, talk about it. Each of us needs to think about the fact that we're trained to look through these lenses, right? But understand that we have a lens. I mean, the truth is, I have one too. I see the world in a particular way.
Yes.
And I need to understand that and understand where my blind spots are, where my biases are, et cetera, and try to be open. Like it's tricky for me to be open to some of the real extreme right, but that's my calling, for lack of a better term, which is to say, if I don't want to add to the division, I need to try to hear them. Doesn't mean I need to agree. Doesn't mean that I need to say it's okay. But I need to try to understand to try to address it.
Yes,
that makes sense. So
it does make sense.
And there's no simple there's no silver bullet here to solving this.
No. I mean, just to get off the subject just a second, what concerns me most is voting, where yes, you can indeed relieve some of this stress by actually giving your opinion out in the form of a vote, but yet if even that vehicle is manipulated, then what do we do? In other words, if I lost, it's because you cheated. If I won, it's because it was real. That's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, and there's the structural systems are set up to polarize in a way, right? Gerrymandering and the party, way the parties are set up. So it's complicated. I kind of go back to something that I don't think is particularly realistic, but that I do believe, which is until you and I sort of look in the mirror and say, I'm not voting for those people.
Right.
It's not really going to change.
Yeah.
Right now you have people who it's not in their interest to change the system.
Yeah.
And so it's complicated. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
It is. You do make mention in the book that we seem to be voting against people as opposed to for them, and that's kind of a shift.
Well, I guess what I would say is we get polarized in a way that, against is in a way simpler than for.
Yeah.
Knowing what you're against, it creates a simplicity.
Right.
And it, negative outside can be more charging, right? It's a little more motivating.
It is.
Hate maybe more motivating than inspiration. Yes. I don't know, but at least that's where we are at the moment.
Right.
So.
Well, the book gets into deeper things and all different sub-subjects of the subject, but it's fascinating because, as you state, the idea is to start looking in the mirror and looking at the reflections, not out of the pool in Washington, but in the mirror in your bathroom. And and take a look at yourself, and you start to understand some things. I think that's an interesting concept.
I appreciate it. I do think if I hope people take something from the book is that they, that looking in the mirror can be constructive in that way, and that they might learn something about themselves as part of this process that, it may help them in their own lives.
Very true. Is there a website that can pull us all together and keep us following this?
Well, the book's due to release on August 3rd, anywhere books are sold, I guess you might say. So
right.
There's my website, mscottgibbs.com, but the information about the book there as well.
Okay. Now again, the book is Toward the Turning: Rethinking the Meaning of 9/11, the Clash of Civilizations, and a Postmodern World. So you Google that, or you can Scott Gibbs. Did you say an initial in the search?
Yeah, mscottgibbs.com. It's like Scott Peck, etc.
Perfect. Hey, it's a pleasure speaking to you. Maybe we can hook up in the near future and just keep tabs on how we're doing.
Yeah, how we're doing. Yeah. Absolutely. I'd like that, Ron. I appreciate that. I'll keep my fingers crossed and, keep working at this.
You got it. Hey, thanks for doing what you do, by the way. Appreciate it. Well, that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my guest, Scott Gibbs. Fantastic guy. Okay, I'm going to be back again with a brand new episode as soon as another weekday rolls around, which could be rather soon. Watch out, another weekday could roll around pretty soon. But until that time arrives, I wish you peace.